Hello, I'm Louise Blaine and I'm the creative lead here at Blumhouse Games. And I'm joined by Cory Davis, the co-creative director on Sleep Awake from Eyes Out. Hello, Cory.
Hello, thanks for having me. This is
No.
super exciting.
So today we're actually going to go through the demo of Sleep Awake that people can actually play right now on Steam. But we're going to have a little bit of a kind of creative director's commentary, if you will, because I think people are really excited about the world of Sleep Awake. They think it looks incredible. So
Awesome.
we're just starting just now. We're in Katya's apartment, and I think before we dive deep, if people haven't seen Sleep Awake, can you quickly kind of summarize what world that we've just entered into?
Yeah, we've entered into this last known city on Earth that's called the Crush, where sleep has become deadly for all of the last known inhabitants of humanity. And so it's something that everyone in this place is dealing with in their own way. And we see through the eyes of Katya, our protagonist here, this experience of having to deal with the fact that sleep has become deadly and that those who fall asleep, they can disappear forever. Her journey is taking her further down the rabbit hole towards the answers behind what's causing the hush or this sleep death.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Like we'll go to the crush later to find out how everyone else is dealing with it. But she is she uses her plants, right? She's come up with that's her literal solution is to work with plants in a way that sort of anti-sleep infusion. We can see her sort of distiller there that she uses, and it works, right? But it's not without its drawbacks.
So Katya has a physical need to keep herself awake, and she actually in this place where she grew up, she has a whole setup here for creating these infusions that do allow her to stay awake, but they also cause certain side effects to take place, and they cause her to even lose track of time and to experience psychedelic experiences and surreal experiences. And she's starting right here at this moment to be pulled further into a place that we call the Fathom, which is a place that exists between sleep and death. And it's a place that she's interested in, she wants to learn more about, but she's also obviously terrified of the hush.
And I think what's really interesting is like as we enter into this, there's these sort of psychedelic lights and these experiences, but then we go into these basically these FMV sequences, Cory. And was this something that you always wanted to have as part of Sleep Awake?
Yeah, it's something that we had to experiment a lot with at first. These psychedelic full motion videos actually project into the world around Katya. They sort of bleed in around her as she comes closer to this woman named Het, who seems to be leading her to some of the answers that she's after.
With the mention of journeys, let's actually skip ahead a little bit and we'll head out into the crush. You know, there's the safety of her apartment, of her flat, where she can prepare everything, but she'll never really be ready for what's out here and what happens in a world where so many people are gone and the people that are left are so desperate. What were when you were thinking about this kind of world, how did you want it to feel?
Yeah, we were definitely like in a lot of different, I would say, arguments and conversations about what the Crush, this last known city on Earth, should be like. We've come to this moment where people are willing to do things that they would never have done in the past in order to find the answers to why the hush is taking their family members, why this danger continues to exist, and a place that's continually ravaged by not only the different cults that are here, the death cults that are here, and their methods for staying awake, but also even tectonic movement and still the remnants of this event called the Swell that has left acid rain in this place. And we start to see what are really the remnants of what used to be a much more bustling and populated area here, where the pain eaters have set up shop, and they were really looking for a way to overcome this element of the hush. And their method for doing that is through inflicting pain upon themselves. One thing that's interesting about this group is that they're not looking to recruit people, really. They're not looking to force people into their cult. This is a place called the Dead Zone because there's a overarching death cult here that has really kind of taken power, and they're called the Delta Transport Ministry, or the DTM. And they're not the type of group that's going to allow you to have your own kind of opinions on what's going on with all of this. They believe that it's absolutely critical that you follow their particular path that has to do with this sleep technology that they've created. So all the pain eaters, even though they are terrifying, and their methods are abhorrent to what they have done to themselves in order to stay awake, at least they're not forcing everyone in the city to do those things. And so you experience that. But also, one thing that was really important to us was to allow Katya to be herself and not to be a superhero or someone who's here to take down these death cults or something like that. And so Katya has to make her way through these terrifying destinations, and quite often she just wants to avoid them, especially the DTM. This is really smart because they're not a group that thinks logically. And I think the dead zone in general is a pretty terrifying place for Katya and for the player. And we really tried to envision what it would be like to live in this place before the DTM had turned it into the dead zone. As people started to lose loved ones, here you're seeing actually people that are really close to my heart and to the heart of our team. This is actually our art director when he was a kid.
Amazing.
And you see that throughout the journey. So if you want to get to know Steve Ratter, you're going to have the chance here. And it's a place that's, I would say, it's full of little secrets as well. It's a place where, as Katya looks around the space, and as the player kind of immerses themselves here and has these kind of moments where the DTM isn't nearby them because Katya hasn't attacked them or something like that, there's opportunities to learn so much about the people who lived here. And then she starts to come across some of those who have been taken by the hush. And here we see the first of those here in the crush. This is called a void shadow. This is a place where someone fell asleep and disappeared and was never seen again. And as Katya interacts with these void shadows, she can call out to them, and she can feel that there's still some life there. There's still something there to seek after. Maybe there's a way that she can find to save them or to interact with them or to bring them back.
I think the horror of the reminders that it's not going well. I think it's interesting that there's those constantly those reminders for the player. If you think you know where you are and you know what you're doing, you lull people into that sort of sense of security, and then kind of pull the rug just when people can maybe settle in and think they know what they're doing. And I think that it's very cool. It keeps you as a developer constantly with the power, because you're the one that can kind of pull that out from under people. Is that something that you were kind of aware of, thinking of how is that balance of reality and the nightmare that you can kind of pull people into?
Yeah, definitely. It's, I'm someone who experiences and, continually battles against insomnia. And so there's a lot of kind of real world discussions that we had, like me and Robin had, and also with our team, where, nightmare and reality kind of blend together. And sometimes it leaves you questioning which one is the physical place, which one is the real world.
And I think we'll stop there. We'll stop there with Katya. You can actually play all of this in the Steam demo that's available now. And we don't have long left, do we, Cory?
No, we have just a couple of weeks here, and you're also going to experience several other different types of enemies, and have to figure out how to survive amongst creatures and beings that are not like a physical death cult in the Crush. They're quite ethereal and strange, and I'm really excited for you to get into all of that.
That is truly the things that I think we'll say that nightmares are made of, Cory, and people can play all of Sleep Awake on December 2nd on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series. So thank you so much for taking me through, Cory.
No problem. This was a blast. I can't wait.